My name is Gisela Sommer. I'm a Falun Gong practitioner, and I want to tell you a little bit about the history of Falun Dafa or Falun Gong. It's also called Falun Dafa, and the name means law will, great way. It's a practice that was introduced in China in 1992 by Mr. Li Hongzhi, and it attracted a lot of attention immediately. It's basically an ancient practice based on Buddhist and Taoist practices, and it's a revival that he brought about it. And so a lot of people started practicing it because they had very good health responses. So in China, it's the tradition that people do Tai Chi and all kinds of exercises in the park in the morning. So they started learning Falun Gong, and lots of people did this, a lot of elderly people too. You know, we think that China is the land of holistic medicine, but actually it has changed a lot over the last 57 years during the communist regime there, and a lot of these practices were lost, especially if they had a spiritual aspect to it, which Falun Gong does. So we do exercises, and we also do a meditation practice. Now the exercises, they're not just plain simple physical exercises. They work on a higher principle with the meridians and the acupressure points and so on in the body. In other words, it has to do with energy. So what I noticed 2.5 years ago when I started practicing Falun Gong is that the energy in my body started moving and my body heated up. Where before I was always cold, suddenly I could feel heat waves going through me, which was very exciting to me because I'm always cold in the winter. I bought myself even a little sauna, which I used a lot in the winter time, but I haven't used it anymore because my body has gotten so hot. And also what I noticed that some digestive problems that I have had that have been very persistent, although I have lived a very healthy life physically, these problems just did not go away. And I was always very skinny, couldn't gain any weight. I'm still thin, but I was skinny and had no energy. And that changed within 2 months of doing the exercises. So now I heard a lot of story about people in China getting such great benefits from this. And I decided, well, I'm getting elderly, I'm pushing 60, and I need to do some exercises. And Qigong, this is a Qigong type practice. Qigong had always interested me. I have kept wanting to do it, but it just, the time wasn't right or whatever. And I didn't like weightlifting and going to the gym. I have a gym close by here on my street, and I went there for about 6 months. And then one day I thought to myself, do I want to do this the rest of my life? And the answer was aloud, no. And I quit that very day. So I actually found this Falun Gong through a friend who told me about this Chinese medical doctor here in San Diego. And at the time I had an injury on my arm. I had it injured through an accident. I couldn't lift my left arm. And she says, why don't you go see Dr. Lu? He does some special things and maybe he can help you. So I went to him, he gave me some treatments, and then he told me about Falun Gong. And he gave me this book to read. It's called Zhuan Falun. This is the textbook that people use to learn the principles, because there's a principle behind this that says unless you improve yourself, your character, unless you become a better person, your health problems will not totally go away. You may find some ways to suppress them or think you're healing them, but they will recur eventually, and maybe through another way. So this is also like a very holistic way of thinking, that your body and your mind is all one. You can't just treat the physical, but then the underlying causes may still be there. That made a lot of sense to me because I've practiced or read a lot of things about this before. So when I read Zhuan Falun, I thought to myself, I found what I've been looking for all my life. I practiced a lot of things and studied transpersonal psychology and have been a meditator for a long, long time. But this seemed to me like this is what I want. So I went to the park. It's actually free. It's free of charge. Anybody can learn it, and there is no charge to it. You can download it from the internet, and I thought, how nice. The other Qigong practices, they cost a lot of money, over $200 sometimes for a course. So this was all free, and I could definitely feel a difference. It wasn't just something people were saying. Now, the sad thing about Falun Gong is also that it became outlawed in China in 1999. The Chinese government said you can't do this anymore because too many people were practicing it, and they felt threatened by it. Being a communist regime, they don't allow anything that has more people doing it than they have members in the Communist Party. So I think this was the main reason. The other reason, of course, also is that we do believe in a higher power, that there is some higher power in the universe, whatever you want to call it, but it's not just the belief in the Communist Party, which is all that they allow there. It's unbelievable what actually goes on in China. I think we people in the West, we have a very romantic understanding of what China is about. It's not like that at all. It's a very brutal totalitarian system. And all these spiritual practices are suppressed. People are put in jails. So pretty soon they were cracking down on Falun Gong in China, putting people in jails and so on. So this has been going on a long, long time. The practice itself, I can highly, highly recommend it to anyone. There are actually 4 standing exercises. They have different purposes. The number 1 that I did was actually the second one, where you stretch and then release suddenly. That's to open up all of the energy channels in the body and to widen the energy channels and connect them also. And there is the number 3, I did that at the very beginning. It goes like this. This is a cleansing exercise where you draw energy from the cosmos and you mix it with the cosmic energy with the earth energy, and it goes through your body, and you can really feel the energy moving. It's amazing. It's like your whole body is tingling when this happens. It's very powerful. The sitting meditation we do for an hour, if we can. Double lotus takes a while to learn. And it helps with the mind, the meditation, calming the mind, because it's very tranquil and also brings out a lot of things in the body. It's just really amazing how it works with the body. So almost every city there are people who do this in the parks, and we have a website called falundafa.org, which is the main website where you can read this book for free, Juan Falun, and you can find locations where to practice this. I go every Sunday morning to Balboa Park. There's this big giant tree, the most beautiful tree in Balboa Park by the Natural History Museum, and we practice under that tree. It's very wonderful. So anyone is welcome. And other places, I just looked up yesterday my hometown in Germany, which is Tübingen, and there was a contact number there too, so it's spread all over the world. It's very, very beneficial, and the people are wonderful, but health-wise, this is really it. It's hard to describe what's happened to me. I talked earlier about physical healing. That's been a journey of 20 years for me. And it has worked, but I have to say, nothing has worked like these 2.5 years of doing Falun Gong, how my body has energized. I feel more like in my 30s again. It's the philosophy behind it too. That's like very soothing and calming. It feels like all of a sudden I found why I'm here, what I'm doing here. And for the first time I'm able to gain a little weight, which is good too. And I participate in a lot of things. I have just unbelievable energy. So I want to recommend it to anyone to try it.